Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off. We've already created the meal plan. This is the main model in our application. Now we have to fill out some of the functionality around that. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to go through all the scaffolding first, and then we'll fill out these features like the automatic creating of the the placeholder for a meal for each meal each day in a meal plan week. So let's go ahead. We'll just keep creating. Let's start with meal. So we'll create that. All right, so we've created a meal. And then what we want to do is bin super scaffold, and it will be a meal that is part of a team, and it has a name, and that's really it. And that's because the meal itself isn't the recipe. A meal has many recipes. And we do want to create a sidebar icon. I don't know how we will do, what icon we'll use. Is there like a plate or... Ooh, that's cool. It's like a shopping list. Like we could use that for the shopping list. So I don't know. Maybe for now I will just leave it, and then we'll come back, and that looks like a stack of plates. Oh, that's funny. I'm sure there's a good one in here somewhere. So what I'll do, I'm going to do control this one right here. So TI control record. We'll use that for a meal, even though it's not very good. We'll fix it later. TI control record. All right. So that's adding... Whoops. That is adding... Oh, whoops. Where's the server? Did we lose the server? Okay, let's do that. We'll turn the server on, and then we'll open up a separate console. Now, one interesting thing you see in the URL here, how there is this Teams. Well, we kind of don't want that to be Teams because we're calling it a family everywhere in the app. So what we can do is actually, for that resource, we can say, how do you say it? I think that'll do it, actually. Let me see if that works. When we restart the server, let's see if that works. Oh, we got to migrate the database. See if this works. Yeah, it worked. So now it goes to families 1. That's cool. So we'll say family members. Yeah, you can see it's all families in the URL in the bottom left-hand corner if it's big enough for you to see. Okay, so we have this meal now. So we have a new meal. We'll call the meal Craft Dinner for all you Canadians. Create meal. Now, yeah, there we go. So now we have meals. Let's keep going through our domain model. A meal. There are, yep, many. Every meal plan has many meals. Wait a minute. Don't we already have this somewhere else? Each meal plan, it creates all of these meal plan meals. Okay. But it should also have a meal of the day. Yep, that's right. So it has a meal of the day. Oh, and it has the date. Yeah, okay, good. So we're good. So we'll create, oh, you know what? Did I already do it? Let's do this. Okay, so we've created that. And then a meal plan meal doesn't, we don't actually need, I don't think we need any, we don't need to use the super scaffolding for meal plan meal because it's going to be part of the UI of editing a meal plan, I think. So we don't need to create any super scaffolding for this. Same with meal recipe. So we'll run the migrations, and then assuming that those work, we can simply add these to our app. Nope, didn't work. It's because we had a typo here. Okay. So what we'll do first is Rails destroy. Okay. And then we'll add it again. And then rake db migrate. Okay, recipe. We're going to have to go in and, in a lot of these cases, in fact, let's do this to this point. We'll need to go back in and add some of the stuff that we modeled out and make sure that everybody has it. Like all these objects have the appropriate things. So we didn't do rake db seeds yet. So rake db seed. In fact, what we should have done here is find or create by. That would have been a better way of doing the seeds. And I'm going to update the seed file as well. And that way, if we run that seed twice, it won't recreate the same records. Nope, it's still giving us trouble. Relationship recipes does not exist. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So in order to create the recipes relationship, the recipes have to exist. So that's fine. Let's do that. We'll add all of these. And one thing that we actually missed there. So a recipe actually belongs to a team. So when we do the super scaffolding on this, it is going to want to add that to the sidebar as well. So I'm going to do, we'll come back and do the super scaffolding on that after. So a recipe, we'll have to change the order, I think, of some of the migrations. All right, so we'll add an ingredient. yeah, so ingredient category is going to be by within a family. Store, same thing. And then we can add some of these relationships. So recipe ingredient. I'm going to destroy this meal recipe record so that I can recreate it, because it references recipe, but recipe didn't exist yet. So I'm going to create that again. And then that should adjust the order in which these migrations run. Let's see if I've got, if all this code worked that we wrote before. All right, so one of them, yeah, stores does not exist. So belong to store. So store has to come before. Store had to come before we created this. So I'll get rid of these ingredients. Oh man, this is a mess. Here, what I'll do is I'm going to update the timestamp on store. So it'll be in order. And we need stores to be created before ingredient categories and ingredients. So I'm going to rename this and make it like whatever, 23, 27, 13, 27, oh. So I can make it, I'm really just looking at the timestamps over here and trying to figure out, I've never actually done this before. That's strange. Here we go. So let's try to run it again. I just made the timestamp earlier than the other routes or the other migrations that we were running. Okay, so it's still saying, okay, so we have something where it says reference where it shouldn't. So I'm going to fix that. In fact, I can't. I have to. So, actually, I should look for reference with a space after it. So it's just store. But I'm going to, here's what I'm going to do, because this will affect the code generation. So I'm going to Rails destroy model store, get rid of the store that I created. And then I'm going to recreate it. And then I'm going to grab this timestamp from the earliest new migration that we have. And that's where I'm going to put this migration plus 1, or 2 microseconds or whatever it is. And then we'll try to run it again, see if we've got the order correct. That's kind of a pain, actually. Okay, something else wrong. Relation ingredient categories does not exist. On which ingredient category when it's trying to create the ingredients. So ingredient category needs to be created before ingredients. So we'll do that by making this, we're just adjusting the timestamps. This is really weird. I don't think I've ever had to do this. Done. All right, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to, you can see we've created a bunch of files here. I'm going to adding the rest of the domain model. Now, there may be some that I've missed that are in our domain model, so I just need to double check. So store, in fact, I can check this in the models directory. In fact, what we can do is go through and check that these things are yeah, here. We'll split it. We have our domain model here, and then what we'll do is, okay, so let's go through and check everything. Make sure we have everything. Store. All right, so we open store. It opened over here, so I'm going to move domain model over here. All right, so we have store, and it belongs to team. That's what we had here. All right, so ingredient category has a team, belongs to a store, but the store should be optional. So let's add that. And then we also want it to belong to this other relationship. Wait a minute, no, that's on ingredient. That's not right. Okay. So, but store is optional on ingredient category. Belongs to store, optional true, and has those ingredients. I'm going to turn off the line wrapping. Just so it's a little less confusing. All right, let's go to ingredient. Ingredient, oh, come on, don't do that. So for ingredient, same deal. These relationships should be optional. Is what we determined before when we were thinking of this. And that's good. All right, recipe ingredient has a measurement, and it also belongs to a recipe. I wonder how that got missed. So recipe ingredient, when we generated the model, we did not, we referenced the measurement, so it should belong measurement, but we didn't include the relationship for recipe or the ingredient, which is really weird that we did not do that. So what I'm going to do Rails generate model. Oh, actually, no, it doesn't matter. We can just add these. So add these. So we'll add recipe and ingredient. Rails G migration. Add relationships to recipe ingredient. And then these are the ones that we want to add. Rails migrate or rakedb migrate. Okay, so we've added those, and now we'll just add these to the model. All right, so there we go. Let's take a look at recipe. Recipe belongs to a team? Sure, but it should also have these has many relationships that we know exist. Great. Meal recipe. Let's look at that. Oh, whoops. Again, pull it over here. Not what I meant to do. There we go. Okay, that looks like it does over here. So meal plan meal. Let's take a look at that one. The meal should be optional. And the meal of the day should also be, no, that's already there, but it should belong to a meal plan. So the meal plan meal, and apparently we never added that. A meal plan meal should not have a date. Why does the meal plan meal have a date? The meal plan. Oh, yeah. It should. That's right. Duh. That's what this is defining. So, but it should have the meal plan as well. So we'll add that. So let that run, and then we can copy these over. Good. So wait for that to run. It worked. Okay, so let's take a look at meal. Meal belongs to team, but actually there's a lot more. Meal has many recipes and belongs to many meal plans. And then let's see if this works. Meal plan, meals, map the meal plan, unique. So we'll add this as functionality as well. We'll write tests for that later. I'm going to just load our Rails environment to give this a quick test, this method. Make sure that it's syntactically correct. So we'll do meal.new. Oh, that's funny. How can we test this? Because all of these things, well, let's try this. On meal, line 4, what is it complaining about? So it's saying, it's saying that in this file on line 4, oh, I forgot this. All right, so then I can do meal.new, and then we'll just, just to see if this, okay, so it's empty. It looked at that relationship, it mapped it to meal plan. If there was anything in there, which there isn't, so let's say, oh, right, let's say meal.new.meal plans meals, and then do a new on there, and just make sure that meal plan is going to work on that. It will. Good. So yeah, generally that's okay. We can have somebody write a test for that later. All right, so meal plan. We want to take a look at meal plan. The meal plan has many meal plan meals. I don't know why meal plan has many teams. That doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll just say it belongs to team. It has many meal plan meals. And then this is actually, let's see if this works. So after create, all right, so we'll create a meal plan on a team. So team first, there is a team. So team dot meal plans. No, we don't have it yet. Oh, no, we do. It added. That's great. So it got added automatically by the super scaffolding. So on meal plans, I'm going to grab that first meal plan. And then on that meal plan, I'm going to stub out the first meal plan of each day. Reload that meal plan by ID. And I think, do we have all of those meals of the day defined? We do not. So let's just drop in our seed. There we go. So now we do. Yep, they're all there. So it's going to create, and then let's see, meal plan meals. Did we already check that one? We did. So that should work. Yeah, this should work. Let's give it a shot. Meal plan dot that method. Boom, it worked. So meal plan meal should be 21, right? Because it's 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. Let's see how it worked. Boom, there's 21 of them. That's fantastic. And if we look at them all, what's the best way to do this? Usually I use awesome print, but apparently I don't have it in the gem file. So yeah, we'll just look at this. January 1st, first meal of the day is empty, hasn't been assigned. And then that goes all the way up until the 8th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should just go to the 7th, right? 7th. First, yeah, so 1. I have an off by 1 error going on in my brain. That is definitely the right math because it's 21 records with 3 for each day. All right, so we're there. So we've got that one working. Let's go back to our domain model. That's great. Meal plan's working. And then meal of the day is already done and measurement is already done. So we are definitely going to commit. Add the rest of the domain model. And then we want to, what do we want to do next? We want to just double check and see that we have done the super scaffolding. So let's take a look at our views or our controllers. So we have controllers for, actually views is a cleaner way of looking at this. So we have meals. We have meal plans. That's good. We want to do recipes. So we'll do super scaffolding for recipes. In fact, actually, let's do that in the next video. Why don't we take a break? We've got all of our all of the domain model into the app and in the database. In the next video, we'll go through and do the rest of the super scaffolding.